Hi, I'm Robin Starr, the Chief Executive Officer of the Richmond SPCA, and I'm just really delighted to get to participate in Day 69 of the Richmond Public Library's 100 Days RVA Reads. It is a program that promotes PBS and WCVE's wonderful program, The Great American Read. I am here with my own dog, Duke, and we are in the absolutely beautiful lobby of the Jefferson Hotel. I have chosen the Jefferson Hotel because the book that I am reading is F.Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, and it seemed like a particularly appropriate place. The Jefferson is certainly a jewel of Richmond. It is a gorgeous place, and the staff here does such wonderful things for our community. I also chose it because Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald actually stayed here at the Jefferson in 1920, so it seems particularly appropriate. The book I chose, The Great Gatsby, is one that I have always loved, and I think the reason I have loved it is because it is so very American. The Great Gatsby is about one individual's achievement of the American dream and all he did and his motivations for achieving what was his American dream. But it's also about the power of wealth to corrupt people and to make people less than compassionate about the situations and the travails of others. So I think it is a wonderfully perceptive novel, and I think it says a lot about people, both good and bad. So I'm going to read a section of it that is from the very end of the book, because I think that is where we really understand what Scott Fitzgerald was wanting us to talk about. And I need my glasses to do it. This is where our narrator, Nick Carraway, is talking about Tom Buchanan. Nick Carraway is talking in the first person. I couldn't forgive him or like him, but I saw that what he had done was to him entirely justified. It was all very careless and confused. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess that they had made. I shook hands with him. It seemed silly not to, for I felt suddenly as though I were talking to a child. Then he went into the jewelry store to buy a pearl necklace or perhaps only a pair of cuff buttons, rid of my provincial squeamishness forever. Gatsby's house was still empty when I left. The grass on his lawn had grown as long as mine. One of the taxi drivers in the village never took a fare past the entrance gate without stopping for a minute and pointing inside. Perhaps it was he who drove Daisy and Gatsby over to East Egg the night of the accident, and perhaps he had made a story about it all his own. I didn't want to hear it, and I avoided him when I got off the train. I spent my Saturday nights in New York because those gleaming, dazzling parties of his were with me so vividly that I could still hear the music and the laughter, faint and incessant, from his garden, and the cars going up and down his drive. One night I did hear a material car there and saw its lights atop his front steps, but I didn't investigate. Probably it was some final guest who had been away at the ends of the earth and didn't know that the party was over. On the last night, with my trunk packed and my car sold to the grocer, I went over and looked at that huge, incoherent failure of a house once more. On the white steps, an obscene word scrawled by some boy with a piece of brick stood out clearly in the moonlight, and I erased it, drawing my shoe raspingly across the stone. Then I wandered down to the beach and sprawled out on the sand. Most of the big shore places were closed now, and there were hardly any lights except the shadowy moving glow of a ferry boat across the sound. And as the moon rose higher, the inessential houses began to melt away until gradually I became aware of an old island that flowered once for Dutch sailors' eyes, a fresh green breast of the New World. its vanished trees, the trees that had made way for Gatsby's house, had once pandered in whispers to the last and the greatest of all human dreams. For a transitory, enchanted moment, man must have held his breath in the presence of this continent, compelled into an aesthetic contemplation he neither understood nor desired, face to face for the last time in history with something commensurate to his capacity for wonder. And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's Dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms further, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Thanks for listening to me read, and please read lots of books because it improves your life so much. Thank you.